Are you like me? While you enjoy taking your camera out, it is such a chore having to actually carry it around with you wherever you go. Well, if so, then fear no more, as I have the perfect solution for you. Welcome to the Yalangu L5. Simply mount your camera, open out the wheels, and then let it take care of the hassle of lugging your camera around. With a top speed of 10 centimeters a second, it gives you plenty of time to take in the scenery around you, or drop it down to its slower speed while you're stopping for lunch or setting up camp for the night, and it will still be in view by the morning. Plus, it has the added safety feature of being able to work on only relatively smooth surfaces, which will ensure that you can't end up injuring yourself halfway up a mountain. And corners, you say? Well, if you want to turn off the straight lines, then simply angle the wheels to suit, and then straighten them back up once you're done. Then, once you've reached your destination and you're ready to come home, you don't need to faff with picking it up and spinning it around. Simply hit the reverse button on your phone and off you go. Perfect! And Rusty seems to think you could maybe use this for things like shooting video or time lapses. Suppose you could, it might be a stretch. It is certainly a potential alternative to a motorized slider, because whereas a slider only runs in a straight line, this can go in either a straight line, or you can angle the wheels to run in a circle of any desired radius, which allows you to then keep a constant distance from your subject whilst you're circling it. It definitely produces better results for that than trying to shoot the same sort of shot handheld. However, I did find it a little tricky to align the wheels. I mean, there are markers to guide you, however, it takes a bit of trial and error sometimes to get the travel path just right. And you can actually use this in conjunction with a slider, thanks to the fact that it's got tapered wheels and a 10cm wheel base, which essentially allows you to turn a set of plain slider rails into a motorized slider, assuming you actually have a set of rails in the first place. The L5 has a claimed payload limit of 3 kilos. Now, I put this to the test using the Sigma 150 to 600mm plus my A7 III, which total 2.9 kilos. Add a tripod head to that as well, and the L5 was actually able to shift it. Although with such weight, you do have to be careful how you place it, as it could easily tip over. The only button on here is a power button. All other control is done via a Bluetooth app on your phone. And the app is simple enough to understand. You dial in an A and a B point, and then you can either drive it once between those points or have it looping back and forth between them. And you can not only dial in a start speed, but you can also then adjust the speed whilst it's on the move for more of a speed ramp effect. I found with the looping that if it's left to loop by itself, then it will always travel the correct distance. However, if you suddenly tell it to jump back to the start whilst it's in mid-travel, it seems to lose itself a bit, because the drive wheel can spin slightly, which throws the counter out, so it will then stop short of where it's supposed to. Another thing certainly worth mentioning is remember to power it down after you've used it, as it will remain live and start getting rather warm after a while. I left this powered up for over an hour. I mean, it didn't catch fire or anything, but it was quite hot. Not untouchable, still able to hold it, but noticeably warm. And it will obviously drain your battery as well. It has a claimed battery life of 4 hours. Now, I haven't used it continuously for 4 hours to test this out. However, I am inclined to agree with this figure. I shot some footage with it before for around 20 to 25 minutes, having fully charged it beforehand, and afterwards it had dropped 8%. Obviously, battery life and mileage is going to vary though, depending on the sorts of payloads that you're putting on and the speeds that you're setting it to. Now, if it does drain your battery, it can be recharged via a USB Type-C port on the back. Next to which there is a port for a shutter cable to shoot time lapses, although I don't actually have a compatible cable in order to test this out. But overall, despite a few niggles, such as aligning the wheels, I do think this is a brilliant little way to add some extra creative scope to your videos. I mean, it's palm size and weighs less than 500 grams, which means it's easy to use either indoors or take travelling, and it gives you the same effect as rails, but without the size and the bulk. Sure, it might not be able to handle the extreme terrain, or really any terrain for that matter, but I imagine this working quite well in a few urban environments, or, for carrying your camera so that you don't have to. Right, I think that's going to wrap this video up anyway. As always, if you have any questions, then please feel free to drop them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, then while you're there, please consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons, and then hopefully, we'll see you in the next video.